Zain, you have exclusive and dramatic new details from senior Kenyan government officials. What have they been telling?
Rosemary, I've been speaking to one senior government official here who's given me a lot of new information. Let me start with the issue of the gunmen. This official said that the government wanted to negotiate with the gunmen, with the militants, but that they, quote, didn't even respond. I asked about the fate of the hostages. The official said it's unclear exactly what their fate is, but he insisted that, quote, the answer lies under the rubble. There's been a lot of focus on whether or not there was a white woman in the terrorist attack, and this is the information I've received. There was a woman among the attackers, but it is impossible to say if it's suspected terrorist Samantha Luthwaite. This source said that they cannot also determine the identity of the woman based on the photographic evidence that currently exists. I was also told that the woman was killed earlier in the siege. No more details are going to be given to anyone until a full and complete forensic examination is done. So they want specifics and the hard details on that. There was a really dramatic escape that I was receiving information about. And Rosemary, remember when there was the huge fire and we were told by officials that mattresses were burning and it was being used as some kind of diversion? Well, this official clarified that and said what was going on in that moment was that two terrorists created a, quote, smoke screen, and that they tried to drive out of the parking deck, basically, and he said they were forced back in. That was Monday. Now, let's talk a little bit about yesterday, Tuesday, and what happened, because we were reporting there was sporadic gunfire, we were hearing explosions, and we weren't clear on exactly what was going on. I was told by the senior government official that that was the Kenyans basically clearing the areas. He said they were shooting in the air to see if anyone would respond, and they were also blowing up doors just in order to get access to different areas. I asked about the rescue effort in more detail, and this official told me that that effort was hampered by a lot of confusing calls that were being received. Now, looking at all of that information, we have a number of questions that are still unanswered because we were told by officials in the whole time we've been here that there were about 10 to 15 gunmen. We were told, the president said publicly that 5 militants were killed. So one of the issues today is, well, if that was the case, what happened to the 5 or 10 gunmen that may have still been out there? And just more details. Many are asking about the sophistication and the organization of this plan. There's still a lot of confusion about the fate of the hostages. The source told me, look, all the answers are going to be under the rubble, but so many people are looking for specific details as to what exactly went down. And it's a confusing situation, so it's probably going to take time for that to come out. The other issue that we're really going to have to focus on today is these arrests. We've learned also that 11 people were arrested and being questioned. Who are they? We need more specifics on that. And then finally, the issue of the white woman. One of the versions that has arisen from a couple of sources that I've spoken to is that there were questions on whether the woman was actually a man dressed as a woman and whether or not there was evidence caught on CCTV of a wig being removed by a man who was dressed as a woman. So we're going to be pursuing all of these questions today, Rosemary. One other thing, as I spoke to rescue officials today, and they indicated to me that forensics teams are on standby, ready to go in as soon as they're given permission to do that. We're hearing that dozens of bodies are still strewn in Westgate Mall.
Yeah,
Rosemary?
Indeed. And Zain, still a lot of questions to be answered, as you point out there. But certainly with 11 people arrested, we should get some answers. Just wanted to ask you before you go, though, what sort of impact this terrorist attack is likely to have on Kenya's approach to security there, certainly with soft targets like shopping malls and movie theatres?
I think this would be a major wake-up call, really. I mean, it was common knowledge. Security alerts were put out multiple times that terrorists may target soft targets in Kenya, places where Westerners may frequent in particular, like Westgate Mall. There are many other malls in this area. There's Sarit Center. There's a place called The Mall. There are many hotels here as well. And so people were aware that this could happen. So I think people are just going to take this a lot more seriously, that security will be beefed up. The city will probably remain on edge for a while because something like this that was so brutal and so raw and so present in people's minds. The terrorists were saying this was essentially a retaliation for Kenya's involvement in Somalia and their fight against al-Shabaab on Somali territory. They say this was a revenge attack. So there are a lot of different things that will be assessed.